Level 1. The Promise. Marcus is 25, sitting in a 2024 Camaro SS. That new car smell hits different when it's your car. Leather, newness, and something underneath that smells oddly like ambition. The salesman, let's call him Dave, steps away to run the numbers, which both know means the deal is done. Marcus just hasn't signed yet. For the first time in his life, Marcus has real money, not generational wealth, not never worry again money, but $67,000 a year with actual commas in it. After years of checking his account before buying groceries, commas feel like oxygen. Dave returns. Inside his folder, $947 a month, 60 months, 7,009% APR on a $48,000 car. He says it like it's weather. Unavoidable, Marcus signs. The first 15 minutes driving home, windows down. V8 rumbling, he feels something he's chased his whole life without knowing. Significance. Here's what Dave didn't mention, that feeling has an expiration date. The billing cycle starts immediately. Level 2. The Performance. Within a week, everyone knows about the car. His friend Jamal circles it twice without speaking. His mom, who has never cared about cars, asks him to drive her to church on Sunday. She sits straighter in that passenger seat. At a cookout, Sarah, who barely noticed Marcus for 2 years, suddenly wants to go for a drive. His coworker Tyler, who used to walk past his desk, now stops by to chat. Even his dad, quiet and practical, puts his hand on the hood one evening and says, "Nice machine, son." That moment lands somewhere deep in Marcus's chest he doesn't have words for yet. He mistakes all of this for respect. What Marcus doesn't realize, admiration and respect are completely different currencies. Admiration fades when the car does. Respect compounds quietly in decisions nobody sees you make at midnight. But that lesson is still years away. Level 3. The Real Cost. Month 4. The payment auto withdraws on the 12th. Marcus set it up that way because watching $947 disappear manually felt like a self-inflicted wound. But here's what the car actually costs. Payment, $947. Insurance, 25-year-old male, performance vehicle, $285. Premium gas, 6.2 LV8, $220. Maintenance, average, $75. Total, $527 per month, over $18,300 per year. According to AAA, the average annual cost of vehicle ownership in 2024 is $12,182. Marcus is 50% above that. The payment was the headline. Everything else was fine print nobody read out loud. Marcus adjusts, stops eating out, cancels a trip, tells himself it's temporary. This is what financial tightening actually looks like, not a dramatic collapse, but small contractions. The world gets narrower, the margin for error gets thinner. And you barely notice because each sacrifice, examined alone, seems reasonable. Here's what nobody tells you about fine. Fine is exactly how the water gets warm before it boils. Level 4. The Comparison. Marcus is 27 now. The payment still hits on the 12th. Then something happens. His friend Devin, who drives a 6-year-old Honda Civic with a crack in the dashboard, just put a down payment on a house. Devin, same age, same company, makes within $8,000 of Marcus. One Tuesday night, Marcus does the math. Devin was putting away $1,200 monthly into a Vanguard index fund. Automatic, invisible, no Saturday driveway moments, just a number growing quietly. Meanwhile, Marcus's $48,000 car already lost 20% in year 1 alone. $9,600 of value evaporated while it sat looking good. According to Edmunds, cars lose 50–60% of value over 5 years. Marcus's Camaro will eventually be worth around $20,000. The loan still wants its $48,000 plus interest. Here's the number that breaks something in Marcus. That $1,527 per month over 5 years, invested in an S&P 500 index fund at the historical 10% average annual return, equals approximately $118,000 by age 30. $118,000 isn't fantasy. It's a down payment. It's a different conversation entirely. It's options instead of obligations. Marcus sits with that number for a long time. The car sits below his window, beautiful, gleaming, completely indifferent to the math he's doing about it. He doesn't sell it. Not yet. Because naming what it's costing means naming what he's been doing for 2 years. But the crack is open. And light is getting in. Level 5. The Reckoning. Month 31. Marcus sits in the parking garage at 11:47 p.m. engine off. Just him and the thing he bought to feel like somebody. He got passed over for a promotion today. The feedback was reasonable. None of it made it feel better. But that's not why he's here. He's here because he finally did the real math, opened every account simultaneously, and looked at them all without flinching. In 31 months, he's paid $29,357 toward this car. The car is currently worth $27,100. He still owes $26,800. His net position, negative $29,000 on an asset that depreciates daily. According to Experian, 16,008% of American car buyers in 2024 had payments over $1,000. Marcus isn't alone in this math, but he's also not insulated from where it leads. He's one transmission failure, one medical bill, one layoff away from becoming a statistic in a Federal Reserve report. Then, there's the number that truly guts him. The average age of a first-time homebuyer in America is now 38, according to the National Association of Realtors. It used to be 33. Something happened in that 5-year gap. Car payments happened. The performance of wealth replaced the building of it. Marcus is 27. The math says he's already behind on a timeline he didn't know existed. He goes upstairs. He doesn't sleep well. Level 6. The Release. Marcus sells it on a Wednesday. Not dramatically. Just posts it Thursday evening, gets 3 serious inquiries, and by Wednesday afternoon, a guy named Robert drives it away with a cashier's check. Marcus stands in the parking lot watching the taillights disappear. He feels grief. Not for the car, exactly, for the version of himself at 25 windows down, sound system thumping, feeling like the story was finally going somewhere. He's grieving that feeling. Final accounting after 31 months, $4,200 in his pocket. That's the total yield of nearly $48,000 in real costs and every dark parking lot moment. He puts the $4,200 in a Fidelity index fund, tells no one. 2 weeks later, driving a used Honda Accord that costs $295 a month, he feels something unexpected lighter. Not vindicated, not happy, just lighter. Like a weight he'd forgotten was weight has been set down. Nobody circles the Accord. His cousin doesn't text asking for a spin. And he sits with that silence, waiting for it to hurt. It doesn't, which tells him something important about what he was actually looking for at 25. Level 7. The Truth. Marcus is 30 now. Devin's house has a yard. Last month he hosted a cookout, his grill, his patio furniture, the smell of something good on charcoal. Marcus stood there holding a beer, feeling something complicated, pride for Devin. Something sharper for himself, and underneath both, complete clarity about what the car actually cost. Not $48,000. Not even the $118,000 in foregone returns, though that number is real and worth sitting with. The car cost him time, 5 years of financial adolescence, the most expensive years he had. Because years 25-30 don't just cost money when you spend them wrong. They cost you the money that money was supposed to make. They cost you the future version of yourself who would have had different options, and options are the whole game. Here's what nobody tells you about ego-driven purchases. They don't feel like ego at the time. They feel like reward, like self-respect, like I earned this. And that desire to be seen, to step out of smallness, isn't a character flaw. It's profoundly human. But the car never delivered that. It delivered the performance of it, the temporary, rented appearance of arrival. While actual arrival equity, compound growth, the freedom to say no kept receding into a future that never quite came. At 30, Marcus understands something impossible to grasp at 25. There's a fundamental difference between buying something that reflects who you are and buying something to announce who you want to be perceived as. One is expression, the other is performance. One costs money, the other costs years. The Camaro was a beautiful, expensive sentence about who he wanted people to think he was. But what he needed wasn't a sentence. It was a chapter, the patient, invisible, unglamorous construction of something that grows in silence. Marcus thinks about his 25-year-old self in that driver's seat, and he doesn't want to shame him. He understands exactly what he was chasing. He just wishes someone had climbed into the passenger seat before he signed and said, "What you're looking for is real. You're just looking for it in the wrong place." Legitimacy and dignity don't live in a car. They live in the account you build when nobody's watching, in the midnight decision with a calculator and no audience, in choosing the future over the performance quietly, consistently, without needing applause. At 30, Marcus is getting there. Slower, in a Honda. With a brokerage account that isn't impressive yet, but is pointed in the right direction, compounding in the background while he builds what was always the real destination. He didn't need a better car, he needed a better question. And now, finally, he knows what it is. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.